Hello, everybody. My name's Chachi, and welcome back to In Our Humble Opinion. Tom's here too. Say hi, Tom.
Bro, what up?
Hey, guys, we're going to talk about the contenders in the week of football that was. We're just going to focus on the teams that are in the race. So we'll start with the Ravens because it's not much to talk about. Wild game. They won on a punt return. They're looking good now because the Dolphins decided to, like, for some reason, blow a what was that, a 14-point lead in the final 3 minutes of the game. And Will Levis, I will admit, right now, it looks really good. I like the competitiveness. I'll say I'm wrong so far, but you never know. I don't want to be right ever, so I think he's at least going to be a solid quarterback. Okay, at worst, reminds me of the Jordan Love thing. You know, what you see is what you see, and I like what I see. The guy's very poised. He plays hard. I like him, but helped out the Ravens a lot. Now the Ravens, literally, if you want to make the playoffs, all you got to do is beat the Jaguars and beat the Dolphins. The last two games are just going to be like you can test yourself against the 49ers, who went healthy or really good, or you could, and then the Pittsburgh game really don't. Them two games don't matter if you win the next two. They don't. They just don't because you clinch. Because then you have the tiebreaker against the only two teams that can possibly jump you, if I'm not mistaken, right, Tom?
Yeah, the Ravens, they're definitely the class of the AFC right now. It's wide open, though. Like you said, the Rams gave them a run for their money. I think they're set at times. People kind of figured out the Ravens secondary a little bit.
Yeah.
Um,
Marlon's not the same player.
playoffs, you just never know, man. That's definitely, like I said, I don't think that's the Ravens' strongest suit is um, just their backfield, or their defensive
Yeah, I
backfield.
agree.
So
I agree.
they got a lot of good players, but especially if they can't hit home and blitz and stuff like that, they might be a long day for them. So the Rams, man, they're in contention still in the NFC because the NFC
I
is just a
love I
dumpster
love the
fire
way
of
they
six and
played.
seven teams.
I love
I
them.
don't think they'll make it in because it's just that loss to Green Bay was super, super critical, and it sucks for them because they just didn't have a quarterback. But it's it's interesting, man.
I
That's all
think
I can
next
say.
I think next year they'll be kind of tough because if Stafford stays, because they have a lot of pieces.
Yep. Oh shizzle.
Yeah, I love Pua Nuka. What a pick, man! I know he had that drop in the middle of the field, but most of that game is ridiculous. So okay, I'm gonna let Tom go on this one. We're gonna get our teams out the way because they're pretty big points this week. So they got Danny DeVito'd. I know that isn't his name, but that's what it's called.
God.
Uh, Jesus. But what do you think of the Packers? I will let you sound off on that one. We saw the game they were against the
I
Giants.
mean, like Green Bay is super frustrating, right? Like offensively, what I was happy with for how bad it was, it got a lot better at
Okay.
the end. Jordan
Yeah.
Love led a game-winning drive, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely. I saw the
per
whole thing.
normal with Joe Barry, you know, I don't know if like how Matt LaFleur can be able to at the end of the year defend keeping that guy. You have this man decided to play cover four, off coverage 10 yards on 3rd and 9, and still have the corners back up 5 yards, right? For DeVito to complete an easy catch. But the guy was able to run for an extra like 5 yards after the catch.
Uh-huh.
Like that was the whole game.
Yeah.
Game, man.
Yeah. True. True.
Like you were playing a rookie quarterback who, I'll be honest with you, his arm's okay. He's a fun story, don't get me wrong, because you know what, the guy's just competent and has confidence. But dude, have a pair and blitz.
Yeah.
Please, are you kidding me? Like it's just a level of incompetence at this point that you almost have to laugh because it's so ridiculous. But you see why Joe Barry defensively in Washington was awful, and then also why you see he was on the 0-16 Lions. He ain't gonna help you win. That's for darn sure. I mean, you should not be giving up 24 points to the New York Giants. They are awful.
I agree.
They are awful. They played so bad in that game that Green Bay played to their level and still almost beat them. That's how bad the Giants are. So it was a trap game that I feared was coming with a young team that really played up to a lot of other teams' level. Now the pressure's on, man. Like you got to play Tampa. Tampa's in it, man. Tampa can win the NFC South. They need to keep winning.
Yep.
You have a dogfight on your hand now.
I agree.
And honestly, the whole way, Minnesota's still 7-6. You need to leapfrog them, right? You still got to play the Bears, and I'm telling you right now, the Bears game is not going to be easy.
No.
They're a much better team than Week 1. So
yeah, I agree.
you better, I mean, it's going to be a tough road, Chach. And they made it really tough on themselves by not winning a game you should win, and kind of proving to me still how young of a team they really are. So, they got to keep growing up. I'd say the couple, injuries do not help them at this stage of how young they are.
I agree.
Losing Quay Walker and him not being on the field consistently, same with Jair. I mean, losing Christian Watson, you see how they can't get the ball deep down the field.
No, I agree.
Really starts to, but you got to find ways to get, Romeo Doubs involved early in the game and get defenses nervous about him. It can't be this second half thing. So, it's just, they're learning. They're a young team. It is what it is. Super frustrating, though. I mean, I hope, honest, I hate to say this. I don't wish guys getting fired and stuff, but, man, I just want to see something different defensively. I'm just tired after 3 years of the same vanilla trash that works against the Chiefs, but it just doesn't work. That's all I'm saying. Unless he has some epiphany in the next 4 weeks, he should be gone.
Tom can tell you more than anybody because he watches them. That's his team. Every play, every snap. I love what they're doing this year, but that is a bad loss. Like Tom said, your D coordinator cannot do that in that big spot. That was crazy. I agree. If he gets fired, no, you don't want anyone to get fired, but changes sometimes are needed. Just like we're recording this on Thursday. The guy for the Staley, I'm sorry, the Chargers got to move on. This isn't working. Okay, that's it. Your team didn't even show up. I just want to get that in there. Just a quick outlier. Sometimes you need changes. It helps. Really does. And I echo what Tom said, but I don't want to hear the Jordan Love crap. I see people sometimes, people just want to bury the guy. He's good. He's good. He's going to be there for at least 3 years, 4 years. And we're going to see what he's got, and I think he's going to be really good. Either way, neither here nor there.
Yeah.
He did the job at the end of the game, like Tom said. Got the score you needed, and like always, it's complimentary football. Your defense needs to make the stop. I said this about the Ravens when the Browns beat them, okay? They didn't do it in that game. You can say what you want about the offense, but the offense went down and got you the lead. You couldn't hold it at the end. I don't care about this and that. That's what a good defense does. You lock the game up. It's over.
Yep.
It's done. You end the game.
No, so what's interesting this week, so Green Bay is number 5 in the NFL. I did a statistic on how, I call it the complimentary football statistic, right?
Mm-hmm.
How often does the team's defense, so the team that just scored, how often does their defense give up a score the following drive, right? So Green Bay's in the top 5. Tampa's actually number 3, surprisingly. I was very surprised. They're actually probably both neck and neck if you really look at it in terms of the statistic. But the Chargers, right?
Uh-huh.
They're up there. Wonder why they have such a struggle. You have this high-powered offense, but your defense never steps up to the plate, right? That's what. At some point, you have to play complementary football. That's what it's about. That's how the NFL is all about momentum, and everybody knows that. I hope everybody sees that and knows that. And it's even more prevalent now how just that momentum makes such a difference.
I agree.
And when you can't truly, you got someone on the ground and you can't keep them pinned there for a couple drives and totally just take it, just take momentum away,
Mm-hmm.
It's a problem, man.
No,
but,
it is. Okay.
Like I said, it's bizarre. To me, it's just bizarre what Green Bay's done this year. And defensively, I think they had to go in the way they did, but there were plenty of guys they could have brought in. Again, Jim Schwartz is one of the best defensive coordinators out there. He totally always turns it around. I don't understand how they can't just say, we have to go get this guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to, when Green Bay won the Super Bowl, they had one of the best, in terms of complimentary football, best defenses in the NFL.
Yep.
They locked people down. they could do it.
And it's like we were just talking about it, but it's exactly like you were saying. The Ravens were high on that stat in a good way, so that's why they win some of these games. They end up blowing people out in some of these games this year because their defense does do that. They'll score and then they'll just be like 3 and out. All the momentum is going.
Ravens are like, I think they're like the top, like in like number 4 spot in all the NFL, right, for this year. I mean, and I'm sure in years past you'll see that they can't do that. That's why the Ravens have just kind of hovered there and never really been able to take the next step.
Yep.
When you talk about winning the playoffs and actually like making a run, but it's man. I mean, it's huge, right? Like again, it's a 3 phases of the game. You got to be able, Green Bay on Monday night they lost all 3, so
we'll get into
each other. The only side of the ball I could say that helped anybody was the offense.
Don't worry,
but it was so late in the game.
We're gonna get into the NFC top dogs soon, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back. I believe I want to do this one first time because this is going to be a little longer. I don't think the top dogs in the NFC we got to talk too much about. We ain't going to be as crazy as this. Everybody watched the Chiefs game. We're going to get into that. First, they're not the same offense. I think Tom will echo that. They just don't have the weapons because you pay your quarterback. You gotta go a little cheaper in some places. You got that MVS kind of energy, that Kadarius Toney. The guy, listen, Kadarius Toney is talented, but he makes so many mistakes during the game. It's crazy. Does it routinely. Good player, but God. And I'm tired. Pat Mahomes. I get it. He's finally has a little bit of losing going on. It's hard because he's not used to it. Dude, it's hard. Okay? And not only that, your season's not over. I just don't get the overreaction. Like, stop blaming the ref. The refs have had a bad year, okay? I will admit that. But Jesus, buddy, that was not a moment. And then it looks so... Oh, that looks such a bad look to walk up to the opposing quarterback and be like, worst call ever... Oh, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Y'all know if that was Tom Brady, you'd be killing him on it. That's why I'm like, y'all got on that man for not shaking hands, okay? Get on that man. He went up to that dude and, like, basically told him you won because of the refs. That's what he said, okay? And I don't want to hear this, yes, you check with the ref, but... You have to put in the effort. They don't have to tell you that. If you watch Tyreek Hill, and I've seen this, Tyreek Hill does it every play. He checks with the ref, and you'll see him. He'll adjust if the ref's like back up a little bit. But you have to point at him, ask him, and he'll do it. He didn't do that. He walked over, looked over, didn't even like gesture towards him and just set up. You got no. We're not. Not only that, I'm tired of this notion like other people got to do your job for you. No, you're a professional. Know where to line up. This isn't hard. You look at the ball. If you're lined up ahead of the ball, you're offsides. It's not hard to do.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I mean, Greg Jennings just said I've never done that in my whole career.
Yeah, like what are we
for real,
doing?
like it's so entertaining how ridiculous. I'm sorry, just like.
My thing is, would you put in that effort for any other player? It seems like Pat Mahomes, you just want to like. Oh, it's okay that he acted. No, he acted immature, and that was crazy. Like, no, it was crazy, dude. Calm down. Calm down. You trying to go fight referees. And not only that, Pat Mahomes is a big dude and all, but, dude, you're a quarterback. Stop. He'll do all that, but then when he gets hit, he's going to be the first one to flop and throw his hands around. So, stop.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Chiefs have gotten clearly, they get a lot of calls at the end of the game because, look, they deserve it.
They won the Super Bowl.
But they are good.
Yeah, they're very good. Yes.
What's different this year is, it's what I said when he signed that long deal a couple years ago. They're going to run into a situation where you can't keep Tyreek Hill. You can't keep, like, Travis Kelce and all these guys. And it's going to suck.
By the way, love Pat Mahomes. Just for the record, best quarterback. It's great.
I mean, I like him too, don't get me wrong. But, like, here's the thing. And I don't care. I'll debate it all day long. Tom Brady could do it. In his second half of his career, when he didn't have Randy Moss, the Stallworth, the Wes Welker on those loaded teams, all he had was Edelman and Gronk. And Edelman, I love the guy, but he's a slot receiver. He's not Randy Moss.
Listen,
okay?
You didn't bring up Amendola, and I am hurt by that. Best hands ever. That's all he had, though, unfortunately.
But
I love Amendola.
The point being, though, right?
Uh-huh.
Like, think about it. Like, you're literally, like, hey, like, he was able to win 3 more titles with that.
True.
The last one against, again, they played great defense, but again, he got it to, he was able to make the plays you need to make, right?
True.
you know, the thing I don't understand is Isaiah Pacheco. You should just run him to death. I honestly like Mahomes at this point. Like, I understand you want to do the pass stuff, but like, you guys have no deep downfield game. The only way to open it up is you have to effectively run the ball and do it,
And
right?
he's a
Like,
very good running back. Yeah, I mean, he is.
dude, yeah, I mean, they actually have like they have Edwards-Helaire is a forgotten guy that I think you could still get something out of. You have McKinnon, you have Pacheco. Like, run the damn ball. Like, there's a like, you know, I mean, against Green Bay, I would have tried to run for 300 yards on that team and just like kept Jordan Love off the field after I realized this guy is going to try to go drive for drive with us, and he's going to do it.
Yeah, he was hot that
Like,
day, playing great.
like, you know, it just, and it turned into this kind of like, hey, you know, and again, like Mahomes, it's kind of like what he had to do when he first lost Tyreek Hill, right? He had to learn, or the people too. I think just teams are, you know, they were doing what Green Bay did. They said, hey, we're going to play a soft cover 4 shell. We're going to dare you to throw deep.
Yep.
And it wasn't working. And all of a sudden he figured out, well, I can check it down.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now it's a little different. Now no one's scared to check it down on you. Or they're more scared of you checking it down and you guys making a play than you beating them deep. So now they're pressing. They're loading the box up. What are you guys going to do, right? So he's just got to evolve. And it's hard.
And I'm not trying to pile.
But just don't sit there and blame the refs, man. Like, how many lucky ass calls you've gotten for how long? It's time, you know.
And I believe they deserve
it. I agree.
it.
Like, dude, it just looks so terrible as a competitor. Like,
yeah,
you're literally whining to the guy and not congratulating him who outdueled you, who battled, who's out there battling with you, and that's the way you approach it. It just like, I don't know, man. You just seem very whiny and entitled.
Yeah,
like, get a grip.
I don't like that. I never like that. I love Mahomes, but I don't like that. That's the thing. That's the reason I defend Lamar a lot of times. Is the one thing about him is he's a competitor. When he loses, he walks up and shakes the guy's hand. He just doesn't care. He goes to the podium, doesn't make excuses.
I'll be honest with you, man. I don't know if I actually like Mahomes. I think he's an amazing talent. It's just tough to like. That's tough to listen to. It really is. It feels like complete entitlement.
And for everyone defending him, my biggest problem is, okay, you had like 20, 30 minutes before you went back. What they got, about 15, 20 minutes before they go up on the podium afterwards?
Yeah.
He had time to think about that and still went up there and moaned and put his coach in a position where he had to defend him. That's why Andy Reid did that. I don't care what anyone says. I don't think Andy Reid thought that. I think Andy Reid was like, well, he just said this. I can't go up here and look dumb and be like, I don't know what he's talking about. He's like, how do I defend him without, like, scolding the refs?
Exactly.
Because he gave, like, a lukewarm defense of him. And I'm like, dude, I'm glad he apologized. That's nice. But in our society, I'm tired of, like, especially in sports, it's okay to say some outlandish crap, right? You hold the media, and I agree with this, by the way. Agree with this with the media. You hold the media to the standard. You can't say this crap and bring it back. But then you think it's okay for you to do it, and everyone's supposed to be like, oh, well, it's fine. No. It's the same thing. Watch your mouth. The stuff you said is, we know what you really think now, bro. You can backtrack it all you want. In that moment, you said what you really think. No one's stupid.
Well,
I don't like that. Own it. If you're gonna be,
it's just like Cam Newton. Remember after the Super Bowl,
yeah,
the way he acted, and it just you go. I get the moment, man, but you know what?
Yeah,
don't sit
don't
up
like that.
there. Like, honestly, just tell him I'm not doing this press conference.
Exactly. No, I agree.
You know, because you know what? And I guarantee you, no one's ever gonna go, oh, like, seriously, because they care about your image. Like, again, NFL cares about its image. They don't want, you know, if you think you're gonna, and I mean, it was the same thing though. Like, you know, I get it. It's frustrating, man. I played the game. God, you know, my senior year, we lost the title game that basically knocked us out of the playoffs FCS playoffs because we couldn't have an automatic bid then, and we had a 10-1 record, and it sucked. But like, none of us sat there and blamed anybody but ourselves. Of like, hey, you have to perform when it matters. Like, unfortunately that's the ugly raw truth about the NFL and football in general. Yeah. It's one game, man. You don't get 7 games to figure it out.
No.
You better, and you have to put your best foot forward. And sometimes, honestly, the luck just isn't in the draw, and it sucks.
And I think it's going to be rough this year for them. But I think the Chiefs are still in it. I just got to keep grinding. I'm definitely going to count them out.
Honestly, I'm calling them. look, I don't want to call anyone cooked yet, but dude, the Bills and teams like that are teams the Ravens could take the Chiefs to town. I just don't think the Chiefs are truly, I'm honestly counting them somewhat out.
Okay.
They're going to win the NFC West, but dude, I just
NFC,
think
yeah.
there's a lot of cancer in that locker room. They started the year off bad when you didn't have Chandler Jones and all those guys, and they saw they lost. So now you have these entitled guys saying, "See, I got to be there, right?"
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, man, I just think like the run's over. It's tough. People want to go make money, go live. I'm calling them cooked, man. And I guess my advice to Mahomes, I'm not in your position. It's just, hey, you got to be humble, man. Like the game is. Remember, people for now 5-6 years have been trying to figure out how to beat you, and they've figured it out, right?
I respect.
So how are you going to elevate your game, and how are you going to elevate yourself, elevate as a leader to say, hey, this is how we're going to do it?
I always respect the guy, and I'm not hating on him. He's going to be fine. Sometimes just cool off a little bit. Like you said, don't talk to the media. I respect that more if you're not ready yet. Don't go up there and say
honestly,
crazy stuff.
I don't think they have to. Like, I'm guaranteeing if you tell your head of PR and just say, look,
No,
man, I can't do this
I ain't got
right
no
now,
problem
it's
with
not going to be a good look.
I'd rather have you do that
than... I guarantee you they would pull up someone else.
I'd rather have you come out there and do that than that crazy stuff. Like, no. And I want to make it clear, I totally agree with the players. These media people shouldn't be saying all this crazy stuff. Mike Florio's a joke. I don't care. I'll say it on here. I don't care. I don't like none of. I don't like people like that. I don't, and I agree with them. But my thing is, you got to keep that same energy. That's what I don't like. That's the hypocrisy. Like y'all say this, but then you come out here and you got people doing that. I'm like, why? That you're just being a hypocrite. Just go in there. Like you said, if you can't do it, I would totally respect that. I respect the hell out of Marshawn Lynch when he was like, "Nah, I ain't doing this. I'm just here so I can't get fined." It's the funniest thing ever.
Exactly. Remember, they never used to, like, again, in the 60s, they used to interview the head coach. They might interview a player or two, but they, like, didn't do a ton of those, man.
I love that.
Now it's like,
I love that.
Everybody wants this inside, the fans, that's part of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
They want this inside access to the game, and it's awesome, right? Like, I love it, but also I think it sucks because people just turn, and like the media, there's just certain outlets that'll twist what's being said, and it's like, no, it's just a statement, right? And these are human beings too. It's super tough. That's all. But
I think
Mahomes, again, all these players have to know there's mics on the field, right?
Yeah.
And also, just remember, there's little kids out there watching this,
right? Yes, that's bad.
You think
example,
it's a good look to be sitting there teaching kids, hey, we got to blame everything else.
Yeah.
You wonder why we have the issues we have in this country when we sit there and constantly blame everybody else for the problems instead of saying, hey, how about we fix what we have in control and then everything else might take care of itself.
Yeah.
That's a different philosophy, but sorry, I got to get off my soapbox on that one.
I think he'll be fine. I don't count him out just because they're the champs. I don't count them out till they lose. Okay, that's just me. That's just the way I am.
Everybody has bad moments. I'll say that.
Yes, absolutely. It's all good. I think he's still great. All that.
I truly think it's an entitlement level. And it's super frustrating.
Well, that's why I'm gonna.
You can't win in the NFL if you think you're entitled to something. I'll tell you that right now, man.
I'm gonna like humility's a good thing, and I think he's had a lot of success, and it's hard when you have a lot. I understand that. I get it, but I do think you gotta be able to deal with that, and I think he's gonna be fine. He's a great player. He's a Hall of Famer. It's all good.
I think he'll be able to deal with it. I just don't think that team can deal with it this year. I truly think.
Well, yeah, I don't think he's the problem over. I think it's the team's
right now, you can't.
No, they don't like that. Yeah.
Well, look. You're supportive of teammates, but I'll tell you, when there's teammates that constantly make the same mistake over and over again, like Tony and even MBS, you get to a point where it's like you don't believe in them. You support them because, right, you got to win, but at some point, it's hard. You can't tell me Chris Jones is just like, this is ridiculous, right? Like, this team should be crushing these other teams. And Chris Jones, look, man, like, the guy clearly, hey, they should have paid him. They wanted to play games, and they, F around and find out. And they did. The Chiefs found out. They lost. They lose to the Detroit Lions. And part of it was, because they got ran right over without him because he's such a disruptive
He
force,
is a great player,
but,
though.
If you
my
have
God.
a guy like that, it's sitting there like, yeah, man, like, I'm that good, right? Again, like, all those start to clash, right? When and it starts becoming more about the individual versus about the team. And
I agree.
I think that's what's happening now is you've had that success. People figured out, look, you got commercials, you got Kelsey dating Taylor Swift.
Swifties.
Like, it eventually does cause problems. I mean, that's what happened in Green Bay. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
After Rodgers, I'd say like 2013, when he just really got a lot of media deals. He's always in the media. He really started. He was an odd fellow before, but he got weirder.
Yeah, so, he felt it's entitlement, like you said. That's what happened with him. He got a little.
Well, and Clay Matthews was getting TV deal, commercial deals. You had Eddie Lacy who got some things. Jordy Nelson, like the guy.
When you win, it happens.
Superstars. They were really good, and that's just what happens sometimes. And people, eventually it has to get broken up. So you can do like what Green Bay's doing right now. And honestly, that's what the Chiefs did. The team grew up together and went through the trials and tribulations together. But now you're at a point where it's like they kind of got to go their separate ways.
That's true. Tom? But this is the main reason why I can't count them out. You think the NFL isn't going to want Taylor Swift cheering during the Super Bowl? Yeah. I'm leaving it there. That's it. I'm just going to put that. I'm not even telling you people if I'm being serious.
That's why they booted out Michaels out of the booth. He said,
right?
We can't. I think the Kansas City Chiefs could potentially be a one-and-done team in the playoffs.
Okay.
I just think it's that bad this year.
The Swifties will not let this happen.
It is what it is. Like, that's just honestly, that's the natural cycle of how it needs to go too. Can't be Kansas City forever.
The Swifties will riot. We cannot have this. Let me stop.
Yes, we did.
Anyway, okay, so we're gonna go to the NFC real quick. You're gonna go over. I'm gonna go over the top 3 seeds because I feel like the NFC's top heavy and the bottom's kind of meh. And then we're gonna end it with a little fun with the AFC, like Tom was talking about Buffalo. I want to talk about them because they're a little scary. But 49ers, I think they're looking good when they're healthy. They're a really good team. The only thing I think with them, you just got to make Brock Purdy beat you, in my opinion. I don't think what Cam Newton said was crazy. I do think he's a bit of a game manager, honestly, because we've seen what happens when he has to carry. The Cowboys, I think they look good, but again, I want to stress this, everybody. I saw the stat the other day. It said record against plus 500 teams. They haven't even played enough 500 teams, above 500 teams, or 500 to be on the list. So they've had a very cakey schedule. It's been easy. They've been cakewalking. Now, do they blow out the teams that are bad? Absolutely. I just want to see how they play with a little adversity, because if anyone's been watching the Eagles over the past few weeks, they just have not been playing great, and that's what happened. It snowballed. They were on the road, and it got out of hand. And the Eagles have a lot to fix, because that secondary, I get they have names, but they're not playing like they were when they were 25, okay? Bradbury's whatever. He gets 15 flags a game. It's ridiculous. It's like, dude, quit playing man, right? I know your line's good, but quit playing man, okay? Because if they block it up, it's a mess. Because they can't cover like that, okay? They're relying on their D-line too much. They got to make a play, and if they don't, then just Tyron Smith, Reddick made one play that whole game. He was on him. And then, open receivers. They're running the ball with Tony Pollard. It was Dallas, though. Defense looked good. They're a solid team. I still don't know. I'm still with them. Like, I want to see them play some good teams. I think they can win a playoff game thus far, but we'll see. I don't think they're beating the 49ers again if they're healthy. And then the Lions, Tom, we'll get into that after we're done those two. Go ahead. Shoot.
No, I mean, Dallas, it's always right place, right time.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say. The 49ers, again, let's see about Brock Purdy. Like,
well-coached team, though. I will say that.
Everybody keeps defending him. Like, look, dude, the guy's a good guy. He's just not Tom Brady. Like, he throws the guys wide open. It's
coaching. The coaching's tremendous.
So many weapons. But, look, in the playoffs, someone's going to try to – the key is, man, you got to try to knock out – if you can knock out and contain McCaffrey, that offense is useless.
Yeah.
That's the key. And there's teams that have done it. I honestly don't. Again, I don't. I'm not convinced. The NFC is wide open. I think it's whoever. I think anybody can take it. I mean, I could see Dallas figuring it out.
Yeah, me
I'd be
too.
curious right now the way it's seated. This isn't the Aaron Rodgers Packers, but Dallas has had a hard time against Green Bay in my lifetime.
They
Right?
do.
At least in the latter part of my life. I'll say in the 90s when Dallas was really good.
Uh-huh.
That was a hard team I hated playing Dallas with those early, the Packer team, like 95 was one of the ones that was a soul crusher. But,
Yeah.
I don't think Dak's the dude. I just think he's a guy.
Okay.
He's a jag. He's a jag like Steve Smith will say, right? I do like the way he's playing though, man. Like he's got weapons, man. He's doing a lot of things that Aaron used to be able to do, and
I like Dak. I like
Bay.
I like him.
But
is he great? No, but he's really good. I think he's a really good quarterback.
yeah, I mean, I don't think he's Tony Romo.
No.
I think he was a good replacement for Tony Romo.
Yeah.
But
he's a safer.
I would take Tony Romo in a heartbeat.
He's a safer Tony Romo, but he's not as
I think Romo
explosive.
got
Yeah.
shafted, but he was the other way too. He just when it mattered, just never really worked out.
Dude, he I think a lot of times though, what I don't like about what we do with quarterbacks. Don't get me wrong, you need a good quarterback to win the playoffs, but the rest of your team has to step up too. I don't like when they always blame the quarterback. If they ain't catching the ball in the playoffs, you ain't winning games, bro. Or people aren't playing defense. It's hard. Remember Andrew Luck? Come on, man.
Hey, just remember, Dez did not catch it. The Lambeau Mystique, he didn't catch it.
I know, they get so mad. That's the best. He didn't catch it.
He didn't catch it. By rule.
Listen, he didn't catch it. Cry to your grandma. No one gives a fuck. Sorry, excuse my language. I'm sorry.
Green Bay Aaron would have went right down and scored. Like Dallas couldn't stop anybody.
He would have.
Their defense
That's my issue with that.
It's so mid that year.
It's too much of a if in that game for them to sit there and be like, it's ironclad. We wouldn't know because they had Aaron. They were home.
But people forget on that 14 team, Green Bay had a really good leader, and he was at the end of his career. But having Julius Peppers was huge.
Great
he was
player.
A really good leader, and he was just such a good player.
He was.
Even at that age, he could just hold down that edge. So
I think Dallas is good. The thing with Dallas that scares me is really mainly, and it sounds crazy because everyone loves their defense. It's their defense. Their defense is sometimes really good and sometimes not so great.
Well, I think like Bland is a fun story. I mean, Gilmore's kind of again, he's at the end of his career. He's not like Buffalo and
no.
I don't know if he's truly used the way that where he's really good. I think their safeties are mid.
I like Michael Parsons, but even him.
I'm gonna have to hold on. I will call you back, sir.
Okay.
Might have to edit this video. Boss lady's calling. So.
Oh, you're good. You want me to just finish it up? Okay. I think Tom's gonna call me back. He's they got stuff going on. You gotta be careful. You never know. But yeah. So go to the Lions next. The Lions, while they have played tremendous football, I think they're really in a spot right now where they're not playing as well as they've been. They've had a couple games where it's like you scratch your head. How do you not beat these teams you should beat? It's been a real mess. I don't understand what's going on with them. I think they're I think they're trying to figure out how to win because they haven't been in this position before, and they're kind of up and down. They have these games, they have lulls like the Bears. You should be able to beat them. The Saints, that shouldn't have been that competitive a game. You get up and then you let them come back. They got to learn how to finish games, like win the game. Jared Goff is Jared Goff. He is very good, but there is a book on beating them, and I think they could win a game maybe in the playoffs. But now I'm even skeptical of that, so we'll see. But definitely trending downward. They need to get stuff cleaned up. Maybe a year too early with the way they're moving. I mean, we'll see. I think Green Bay could definitely beat them. I've seen that. They made the playoffs. Like Tom said, I think they could beat the Cowboys, too. I think that would be a heck of a game. I still put the Cowboys. I would think they could beat the Packers, but it'd be a very competitive game. That's a streaky team. And the Eagles, they got a lot to fix, but they're also 10-3, so Jalen's a little banged up. Maybe he'll get a little more healthier. Vikings, I just don't see the Just don't see them being there in the end. They have QB issues now. If Kirk Cousins comes back fine, I want to see how healthy he is though before I make that assessment. But still think the Packers could beat them. I really do. I think that's going to be a very competitive game because of course it's a divisional game. It always is. Now to the fun part of this story. Steelers. I'm sorry, they are what they are. We ain't worried about them. Nothing. Get them out of here. I hope I'm wrong. I have nothing but love for the Steelers. And this Mike Tomlin firing crap, stop. That man should not be fired. No. Extend him. Leave him alone. Great coach. You don't even have a quarterback. Let's be serious. But the funnest story, before we get into the Browns, Joe's back, baby. All you guys got to do, trust me from a Ravens fan, just get to the playoffs. Joe can get you to the playoffs. By the way, man came off the couch and is just flinging. Oh, gotta love him. But Joe, get Joe to the playoffs, man. I would love to play you guys. Oh, I love Joe. I have no disrespect, Browns fans. Either to you guys, either. Joe with that defense, you got a shot, baby. Just keep him in there. Keep the Joe in there. You got a chance. Get him to the playoffs. You got a real good chance because he's playoff Joe, and no one messes with playoff Joe. Now we go into the Colts. I love that they're being competitive. I think this could be. They're not going to get a higher pick, but that's fine. Gardner Minshew's good. You got your rookie quarterback coming back. I think they're a tough team. I don't know if they can win a playoff game, but they're going to be tough, and I think they would be they would be very competitive in the one game they would probably play. Don't think they will win though. Jaguars. Trevor's coming back from being a little injured. I think they're trying to figure it out. Team's kind of up and down. We'll see. I think they're going to give it their all tonight with the Ravens. Tonight. This weekend with the Ravens at night. I think it's going to be they're going to give it their all and see if they can win the game. Sorry, I was reading text. So I think this is their big game. I think the Ravens are going to have a tough one because they got to win this game, the Jaguars, and they're going to throw everything at them. This is the kitchen sink game, and Doug Peterson is a heck of a coach. And here are my teams. Now, Texans, they got a lot of injuries to deal with. I think the great story, but the injury bug's just killing them. It happens in football. It's sad. The Bengals, Broncos, they're kind of they're doing that up and down thing again. I don't know how competitive they're going to be. Like I said, was impressed by the Rams. You can see them on the other side of the screen. I didn't mean to jump over. I was just saying that. The Bengals, Browning's pretty good, man. I love that. They have a good backup quarterback. Another tough team. They're from the AFC North. You know, we're all tough. They're staying in it. And hey, as a Ravens fan, I can tell you, Bengals fans, love that. Love that. And the Bills, they're the sleeper team. But as I said, likes are appreciated as always. Roll Tide. Thank you guys for everything.